you put in the time every day. You go to work, and I love going to work. It's my favorite part of the day. Get up 6:30, cup of coffee. Don't eat because eating distracts you. Um, don't dress because dressing can distract you. Uh, my wife and I don't make eye contact in the morning. We don't speak to each other in the morning. Uh, Absolutely, the phone is in another room. There's no answering machine. Sometimes I'll even put on headphones, not music headphones, carpenter's headphones, so I don't hear anything. And then uh, sit on a couch. And sometime I'd like to write a story called the not writing part of writing, which I think is one of the most important and ignored parts of writing. So some days it's all thinking. Some days it's writing out of the gate. Basically, sit down, access whatever the story is in my head. Once I access it, then go to the computer and start writing. That doesn't make sense the way I said it, does it?
It
No.
makes sense to me.
But the interesting thing is like how you recognize when you should start writing. Sometimes, I've been lucky sometimes to teach, to get invited to be writer in residence at schools. And the first thing that I say to students when I get in there is, what do you think the minimum is that a reader owes a writer? And then I'll say, uh, you worked on it for 6 months. You poured yourself into it. You didn't go to the party. You didn't go on the date. You didn't go on the beer drinking. You didn't play poker. You could die in that room and no one would ever know you were there. But you produced this piece. And so what is the absolute minimum that people owe you? And it goes around until someone says the right answer, which is nothing, of course. The reader owes you nothing. And so then it becomes, well, the reader owes you nothing. The only way, like, they don't care about you, they don't care how much they don't care what your problems are. The only way to get them interested in what you want is to entertain them, is to get their attention. So every day when I sit down with a cup of coffee, I close my eyes and I try to imagine the world, whatever it is I'm trying to come up with. Sometimes I pretend I'm a satellite and the satellite is getting closer to Earth, and then the satellite sees that street, and then the satellite sees that house where action was yesterday, and then I realize something about the lawn, and the lawn makes me realize something about how it smells, and the smell makes me realize that the window is open, and then I see the people in the room, and they're smelling that smell, and then I'm in the story. It some days it doesn't happen. I hate those days. Some days I'm laying on the couch for 5, 6 hours, and it took me years to learn that laying on the couch for 5 or 6 hours is just as legitimate as going to the computer first thing and starting to write. I don't know where there's that saying, if you're a writer, why aren't you writing now? And so much of the bad writing I see from students or people starting is because they didn't think about it enough before they started, or they didn't realize when they started that they were writing a draft, or they didn't realize that once you put something on paper, it wants to stay alive and you have to fight with it over whether or not you can kill it or not. And so you better know when you put it on the page that once it's there, it's alive and it's going to want to stay there like every other life form. So who's the boss, you or the page? Who's the boss, you or your enthusiasm? That wrestling match goes on in one way, shape, or form every day. And whether it's a short story or a nonfiction story or a fiction story or a little thing or a big thing, the elements are the same.